Hello, welcome back to Math Time with Professor Prime, and I am your host as always, Professor Prime. So let's talk about that moment. That moment when someone's perspective changes about math. Let's get into it. So, one, I want to say that it's a beautiful moment to me. It's awesome. So let's talk about what leads up to that moment. So, when I was younger, right? I went through school, and in the beginning, we were all learning math. No one really had a problem with it. Then people started having problems with it, and I think that's largely because of how it's taught. And not a knock on particular teachers, but just in general, I had beef with how it's taught. But I digress. So people started having issues, but not a lot of people talked about it. It's like they were ashamed of it, or they just didn't want to deal with it. And so people started dipping off, right? And this went far into high school and went into college too. But the thing about college was that people finally started talking about that. They felt more comfortable in that environment to discuss things that maybe they didn't feel like discussing before, or maybe they didn't feel comfortable about discussing before. And I would have some interesting conversations with people where they had some bad experiences with math. They didn't feel confident about it, and they hated it. And you know what? I can't blame them for hating it. But I'm a firm believer that no one actually grows up wanting to hate math. We're all taught that it's fun in the beginning, that it matters, that there's ways to make it concrete, and then things get turned around and it rubs a lot of people the wrong way, and I can't blame them. And so people end up having a lot of math anxiety. They have confidence issues with math, and they end up kind of hating it, or they had a teacher that was just awful towards them, or they had maybe some classmates that were, or parents, like you name it. Someone might have given them issues about struggling with math. And so, to me, having these conversations with them and watching them change their perspective about math and how they are with math is a beautiful thing, because I've seen people like that have cried. They were straight up in tears about math. I've seen people that were just like not a fan of it, didn't really want to do math. Now note, these were actually hardworking people. They didn't want to do the work in math because it was math. It's not that they didn't want to do the work. And so I found that over time, as I was teaching more and more, I would talk about math and what it is and what it entails, because we don't always get that in class. And I got to like kind of do a test run in college because I had a lot of friends that I would talk to about math, and when they would ask me how that was going, and I got to like see their eventual excitement that it was just like more than what we had, and I'd have actual conversations with them. So I took that and I applied that to students. I treated them like people. Go figure. It's a novel concept, I suppose. But seriously speaking, one of the things that helped me reach people is, yeah, talking to them like people, telling them what math is, and when I saw things that worked, letting them know what worked. When I saw things that didn't, letting them know why. It's not enough to say that someone's wrong. They can't get better the next time if you don't tell them why, or at least it's very hard to. And so I would have these conversations with people, and I'd watch their perspectives shift. Sometimes this was a slow process, and you can kind of like see it happening bit by bit. And sometimes someone just didn't say something, and you didn't really perceive that change, but they come to you and they tell you a difference that you made. The difference that you made with their perspective. And I think that is an amazing thing, because sometimes you have no idea of knowing. So for someone to tell you, it's a great thing. So in some cases, I've seen people reconsider majors that they were doing before, because there might have been like some STEM heavy majors and they didn't want to deal with math, or they thought they weren't good enough. And so that perception change kind of bleeds into that, and that's great to know too. I don't want this video to get too long, so I'll kind of sum things up by saying, for me, seeing people come into math and struggling, and then walking out of a class with a new sense of what math is and some confidence. Now, it's a beautiful thing to see that shift, because people thought they couldn't do something, but really they could the whole time. And I think that's amazing, and I'm glad that people end up seeing that. And I've been really, really lucky to have people tell me the difference that I've made, and to let me know where they were at with math coming in and where they were at with math after they were done with my class. And so, yeah, it's a really good feeling to see people change their perspectives, because again, no one grows up wanting to hate math, but people often grow to hate it, and I can't say that I don't get it. So for me, it's a rewarding thing to see someone change their mind about it. Because the math is all around us, and I hope that we can be empowered by it instead of feared. I hope everyone can have that. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Professor Prime out.